Welcome back to another episode of the Ryanair podcast, episode 191. Getting close.
Yeah, nearly there.
On today's show, Emirates were fined $1.8 million for flying in Iranian airspace, a $2 billion retrofit program for their 191 aircraft, turbulence injuries on an Air New Zealand flight, United Airlines oxygen mask panic incident, Emirates A380 rejects a takeoff after some engine flames, Virgin Australia emergency landing due to a bird strike, IndiGo secures compensation from Pratt Whitney, and a blade found in an Air India flight meal. So let's start with the Emirates story. The Department of Transportation fined Dubai-based Emirates $1.8 million for repeatedly flying through Iranian airspace on US-bound flights from December 2021 to August 2022, violating FAA rules. Now, the witty parrock here might say, yeah, but they don't have to comply with the FAA rules.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I was reading this. It was like, but how
it's got nothing to do with them.
But
well, yeah, the connection with JetBlue.
So this is where it gets all
This is where
twisty
your
with
interlines and your code shares are actually a bit of a story.
comes around and bites you in the backside a bit. But
So the issue is they had American passengers on a JetBlue, basically ticket number, I suppose,
yeah,
flight number, and that is the issue. Yeah, the infraction linked to the code share agreement with JetBlue, requiring adherence to FAA rules and regulations. Fair enough.
yeah, I suppose.
Well, it's a bit of a fine, eh? $1.8 million. But anyway, they can afford it because they are spending $2 billion on a retrofit program for 191 aircraft, including 43 A380s and 28 B777s, enhancing the passenger experience with new premium economy layouts, managed in-house refurbishment features, upgraded cabins and interiors. The first refurbished A380 was deployed in January last year, and the first 777 starting in July 2024. CEO emphasized the noticeable improvements for passengers. Let's chat about this for a minute. How important? I don't think it was ever a factor. It was always a minor factor. I think it's more of a factor these days than it used to be. So if you are competing with airlines that have these ultra-modern cabins and awesome in-flight entertainment, because the in-flight entertainment's improved drastically over the years. Remember the Spuries 340s and that, with that little rinky-dink screen, and you could never see anything because there was so much glare. It's like, okay, whatever. I'll watch on my iPad. But now you actually look around and you don't see that many people with their computers and iPads up. They're all watching the screen. But I suppose Apple Vision Pro is going to change all that, because an aircraft seems to be the ultimate place to watch. To sit there with your VR headset on and watch a massive IMAX type screen. But sticking with the question there, how important is an ultra-modern cabin to you?
No, look, I think it's, in the long run, it's definitely going to be more appealing to passengers when they recognize that airlines are, doing their best to look after their comfort and make these long-haul flights more enjoyable.
Okay, let me throw another question at you. So if you buying are you battling there?
Yes.
If you buying a ticket overseas, are you looking purely at price, or are you going, oh no, I want to go on Emirates because they've got better in-flight entertainment for the kids, they've got better seats, it's a bit more comfortable? Is that like something that you actually take into consideration?
I think for the regular travelers, the guys that are savvy with what traveling is all about and what the airlines are offering, when it comes down to traveling with your family on holiday, if the price difference isn't going to be that much, then you might lean towards going for a bit more comfort. It depends. That's where the price wars are going to come into effect, I reckon.
Yeah.
But if it is purely like down to budget, where you know sacrifice the comfort to make sure that you got a couple of more extra cold beers on holiday, then
Yeah, true story. But I think in this age, and obviously the airlines are taking this into account, that things like how fancy your screens are, do you have USB-C cables available on every seat? These things are not overlooked by the new generation of traveller.
yeah.
Next story. 2 people were injured on an Air New Zealand flight from Wellington to Queenstown on June the 16th. This was due turbulence again. A passenger was burned by a spilled coffee pot and a crew member hit the ceiling. So similar to the last time. Both were taken to hospital, blah, blah, blah. Aircraft landed safely. Why are there so many turbulence issues? Or is it just that it's like
It's become a thing
in the
now.
news?
It's in the news. I think it's in the algorithm now.
So
You
it's not because of anything else. It's just some
Yeah, I mean, what
reported.
would have changed so dramatically now all of a sudden that
Global
there's-
warming, bro.
Yeah, global warming. I see Cyril Ramaphosa is now an expert on
Is he?
on climate change and everything.
He's about as yeah.
Yeah, let's not go there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that's gonna have. I mean, come on.
He's about as good as an expert on climate change as he is on putting on a mask. Yeah. I don't think it's a new thing. I think the reports now, people also see, it could possibly make the news.
Well, there's that, and also, well, you added it in, yeah. But I mean, from an old story where passengers are probably going to use this as a segue now to try and sue the airlines for. I hurt my neck on your turbulent flight.
We'll go into that one. Which one you're chatting about? The American.
Yeah, from what's it?
Stacey Rock, her
Yeah.
name is, suing American Airlines for unspecified damages under the Montreal Convention after severe turbulence on a flight from Paris to Chicago 2022. Left her with a broken collarbone, broken rib. Despite severe weather warnings, the pilots continued to O'Hare. Rock, who wasn't wearing his seatbelt, claims the seatbelt sign was off and no warnings were given. And that is her case for suing the airline.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Darwin Award for
Yeah,
Stacey the Rock.
being a dumbass.
Yeah.
And all it does, it makes the skippers now, if there's a cloud 3,000 miles up ahead,
Yeah.
you put the seatbelt
That
signs
seatbelt
on.
sign's going to stay on the whole flight.
So
yeah.
you ain't going to the
Yeah.
toilet.
Yeah, let your bladder pop.
Yeah. Stupid. United Airlines oxygen mask panic. On June the 12th, United from Paris to Washington faced panic when some oxygen masks deployed and an emergency announcement played erroneously. The pilots knew nothing of it. Apparently, they just carried on and didn't know that the oxygen had deployed, and there was mass panic in the back of the aircraft. A lot of these stories I'm getting from a website called Paddle Your Own Canoe. Have you checked it?
I haven't, no.
Very cool.
Is it?
Yeah, well-written articles and on the money when it comes to the latest stuff. And it's free, so really, really good. Well worth checking it out.
Quite a few engine-related issues or stories doing their rounds this
Yeah,
week.
safety in general.
Yeah. We see this one here. Emirates A380 rejects takeoff after engine flames. So this was on Emirates Flight 262, and A380 rejected its takeoff in Sao Paulo after flames were seen from the engine, not the afterburner. Aircraft still remains grounded 2 days later. The incident caused by an engine surge that halted the flight to Dubai, and efforts are now in swing to fix the left-hand engine with parts and engineers needed on site.
Yeah, but there's no parts.
No parts
There's
because
no-
of
the
supply chain.
Yeah, there's no parts.
Oh.
Carrying on with safety stuff, Virgin Australia did an emergency landing due to a bird strike, and no injuries, but the bird was severely damaged. For the animal lovers there, sorry about that one. And this one's interesting. IndiGo secures compensation from Pratt Whitney. Speaking of engines, secured compensation earlier in June for engine issues that grounded over 70 aircraft since early 2023. The undisclosed settlement aims to reimburse IndiGo for costs incurred due to grounded planes. doesn't that open a massive, like, I mean...
All these guys that have been grounded.
how do you... Okay, obviously they want to look after IndiGo. I get that. They're a massive player. But, I mean, doesn't it... You know, we're not going to look after your claim. You small fry. We're not interested in you. But IndiGo, hey, he has a big settlement.
Yeah. Well, it's probably because they were badgered by the Indians.
That's exactly what
you owe us the money. You don't pay, no pay. Send another email.
True story.
So probably to the point where they just,
let's just pay these guys.
If it gets them to shut up.
Aer Lingus pilots are likely to strike after failed pay negotiations. The airline challenged the electronic vote prompting a paper ballot. 9.25% pay hike and seeks 23.8% increase. Aer Lingus deemed the raise unsustainable. The strike could disrupt summer travel and has led Aer Lingus to drop 2 Airbus 321 XLRs from its fleet.
Well, that's just what the airline needs. A bunch of pissed off Irish pilots.
Yeah, but what point does it... it's remarkable that at this position now in 2024, with the air travel demand fully back to normal and probably exceeding anything we've seen in the past, there certainly aren't enough pilots. And here you're seeing an airline actually take aircraft out their system rather than pay the pilots, which is also not a cool thing to see.
It's not, especially when there's other airlines that are, paying out to the tune of 5 to 6 months' salaries worth of bonuses.
Yeah.
So it is a bit swak. So
yeah, not the news we want to hear. But this one is certainly not the news you want to hear if you're actually the dude on the plane. A passenger found a blade in his meal on an Air India flight from Bengaluru to San Francisco. He discovered the metal piece while chewing his roasted sweet potato and fig meal. Air India,
pretty stiff.
Yeah. Air India confirmed the object originated from the catering partner's vegetable processing machine. Paul shared his experience on social media, prompting the airline's response. If you want to get a response, social media with the hashtag Air India. Air India meal. Yeah. That's where you're going to get your response from.
Look, quite frankly, I'd still rather find a piece of metal in my meal than a pew. But
true story. But a little bit dodgy getting a blade. It was Father's Day this past week. Hope you all had a good one. Did you?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I had some good time with the kiddies. It was magic just to switch off for a little bit, just spend time with them, and thoroughly enjoyed it. It was great.
Good stuff. Well, we're going to push out another episode this week, and probably more likely to come out on Friday.
Yeah.
Actually, due to the shortened week. So I hope you all have a good one. Look forward to seeing you then. Thanks for supporting us. Don't forget, if you want to become a Patreon, click that little button. It'll take you to Patreon, and then you can choose between a $5, $10, and a $20 deal. It'll really help us a lot. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks for your support, and see you in a couple of days' time.
Ciao.
Bye for now.